Hey everyone, so today we are going to be building out Windows Server 2022 on Proxmox. The first thing that we will want to do is upload our Windows Server ISO and VirtIO ISO drivers. I will add some links in the description for where you can get these. Select your local Proxmox and then select ISO images and then select Upload. Each file will need to be selected and uploaded to Proxmox one at a time. First I will upload the VirtIO ISO. You do not need to put anything into the hash algorithm field. Once the file is selected, press Upload to continue. Once the upload is complete, you will see a notification window appear that says the file import was successful. You can close this window and move on to the next upload. Select Upload once again and locate the Windows Server 2022 ISO and upload it to Proxmox. Once again, the notification window letting you know that the ISO upload was complete. Now we can move on to create our virtual machine. Select the blue Create VM button in the upper right corner. In the General tab, give a name to your VM. You will want a name that will tell you what the VM is. For this, we will name this Win Server 2022. Select Next. In the OS tab, select Use CD, DVD Disk Image File ISO. Select the ISO image field under and select your Windows Server ISO. For type, select Microsoft Windows and the 2022 version. Select Next. For EFI storage, I'm going to select local LVM because we need at least 60 GB of space, and you can see I do not have enough in local. The TPM storage should be the same as your EFI storage. Select Next. In the Disks tab, be sure that your bus/device for your Windows Server ISO is set to SATA. For disk storage, enter 55.88. Next. In the CPU tab, under the cores field, increase from 1 to 2. For type, select Host. You may have to manually type it in order to locate the host model. You can leave the memory field how it is and select Next to move on to network. For network, select VirtIO Paravirtualized in the model field. Select Next. Review the configuration before selecting Finish. We are going to go back into the hardware field for our Windows Server and manually add the CD/DVD for the VirtIO ISO. You can leave the bus type as IDE. For storage, select Local. In the ISO image field, be sure to select the VirtIO Windows ISO. Select Add. Do a final review of your configurations for CD, DVD, hard disk, and boot order before turning on your Windows 2022 server. Move over to the Options tab on your Windows 2022 server and select Boot Order and then Edit. Review the boot order of the device and verify that the Windows Server 2022 ISO is first, the VirtIO Windows ISO is second, and then next I usually add the SATA drive and the network interface as last. Be sure each device has a check mark to be enabled. Select OK once the review is complete and move on to booting up the device. Okay, now it's finally time to get to your console tab and boot up your Windows 2022 server. Once you see the message, press any key to boot from CD or DVD. Select any key on your external keyboard. So if everything was done properly, you will be brought to a blue Microsoft screen where you can select your language, time, and keyboard input. Select Next once complete. Follow the prompts on the screen and select Install Now. You will get a message that says Setup is starting. Select the operating system you want to install. If you would not like to have a graphical user interface, select Windows Server 2022 Standard Evaluation. If you would like a graphical user interface, select the second option, Windows Server 2022 Standard Evaluation, Desktop Experience. Select Next. Scroll down to the bottom of the window in the license terms and select the checkbox to accept and move forward with the install. For the version of Windows you would like to install, select Custom Install. If you followed the steps in this video, you should only see one drive to select to install the operating system on. Once selected, hit Next. Here you will have to wait a few moments for the Microsoft Server operating system to install. Once the install is complete and the device restarts, you will be brought back to beginning of the install setup. You will need to power down the device and change the boot order so that you can break the install loop and continue setup. In the upper right corner, select Stop, override active shutdown tasks, and then Yes. For your boot order, make sure that your Windows Server 2022 ISO is first, then the VirtIO ISO, and then your SATA hard drive. You can have your network interface last. Be sure all devices are enabled before selecting OK and powering your device back on. Once your device is powered back on, you should be prompted to create a password for the administrative account. Once the credentials are created, you will be met with the Windows login page. Here you will enter those same credentials that you just created. On the left side of the console, there is an arrow. Select that arrow so we can send a Ctrl-Alt-Delete and enter the password. And that's it. You have officially installed Windows Server 2022 on your Proxmox virtualization platform. Congratulations!